day he be the same. We the people representing change to the world, we be the light, pointing people to the Christ. Went from being dead to knowing life, showing folks it's gonna be alright. Cause every day I got God with me, in the flesh my squad with me. Approach the sea with my rod with me, stand firm till they come and give me no magic here or hocus pocus. Trusting God and staying focused, thanking God for joy too and restoration from the swarming locusts. This the life that we live in daily, by faith but they call us crazy. I concur his grace is amazing, and that's enough for me to keep on racing. Yeah, I'm in my lane and ain't no looking round, just trying to please the Father cause I know he's looking down.
Yeah, mic check, check mic, mic check.
Let me hear you say his name.
Let me hear you say his name.
Let me hear you say his name. Let me hear you say his name. Let me hear you say his name. Let me hear you say his name.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Yeah. I'm not ashamed to say his name. It's the name above them all. It's the name that I preach, the only name that I call. He's the Alpha, he's the Omega, he's the beginning, he's the end. He's the one who conquered death. He's the Savior from my sin. He's the Lord of all Lord. He's the King of all King, my El Shaddai. He's Almighty, Most High. He's Elohim. He's the seed of Abraham. Jehovah Shalom, he's my peace. Jehovah Jireh, my provider. Jehovah Rapha when I'm weak. Jehovah Nisi, he's my banner. He's the bright morning star. He's the Lamb that's in the midst, and he's the Christ in your heart. Yahweh, I am who I want him to be. He laid me down in the past and even rocked me to sleep. So say his name, say it loud. Say his name, your heart be proud. Say his name, Jesus Christ, until we meet up in the cloud. Hey, yeah, Ambassador Shawn, zero doubt. TrennyyRayy.
Let me hear you say his name.
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 Let me hear you say his name. Let me hear you say his name. Let me hear you say his name.
Let me hear you say his name.
Let me hear you say his name. Let me hear you say his name.
From Chattanooga to Lewisburg.
Let me hear you say his name.
Let me hear you say his name.
Let me hear you say his name. Let me hear you say his name.
Jesus.
That should be it, Shawn.